This question comes from Happy Peep, and the question is, how and why did you settle with the username JStopherMLG? It would be pretty cool to know the reason behind it, as some usernames have a cool story to them. I don't really have much backstory to my username, honestly. I created it when I was about like 10, 11 years old, around there, and that was for my Minecraft account, when I finally played Minecraft for the first time on PC. And then when I created my YouTube channel, it goes under the same name as my Minecraft account. My YouTube channel was previously for like Lego videos, stop motion videos, and even plush videos as well. Although those videos have been unlisted and privated permanently because I just don't really want people seeing them mostly, because it's a little bit embarrassing to hear me, my high-pitched voice, and I was very young back then, so yeah. And plus, a lot of people don't really know this, but MLG at the end stands for Most Legendary Guy. Yeah, I know, it's awfully cringe, please kill me. Alright, this question comes from Flame488, and his questions are, how was your start on Minimator? Was it your first option when you decided to use it? It wasn't really my first option. I had other options like Blender and Cinema 4D, and I didn't really go far with them because they were just so difficult to learn and all that jazz. So before I was about to like give up on the whole animation stuff, I decided to type in Minecraft Animation Maker, and that's how I come across Minimator, and I've been using it since December of 2020, and I'm still using it to this very, very day. So yeah. And the second question is, how was your beginning into the animation world? It was quite an interesting experience. That's all I'll say. Also, how did you keep improving through the years? Mostly watching tutorials from Sharpwind, a little bit from Kazukocha, and one tutorial from Bean, which is the VFX tutorial, basically. Although most of me like improving over the years is mostly like, self-taught. So yeah, I want to like, see if I can, rely on less on tutorials and try, improve myself by self-teaching myself. So yeah. Okay, this question comes from Hurling, and they have 3 questions. Nice. How do you deal with demotivation? It's kinda tricky, for me at least. It's kinda tricky to answer, but I'll explain it the best way I can. The way I deal with demotivation is just simply take a break from Minimator and do other stuff, like play video games or hang out with friends, or write down ideas that I have in mind, and draw some stuff as well, and listen to some nice and beautiful, calming, ambient music. Helps you out quite a bit. Have there been times where you wanted to quit? Yeah, that happened sometimes where I wanted to quit. Mostly because of the community, the Minimator community, mostly because it was quite toxic, with some people like comparing themselves to other people and wanting to compete against each other to be the very best of the best, which was quite cringe. I had like a few people like criticizing my work pretty brutally and not giving up any like, positive, constructive criticism, because they just point out the bads and the flaws, even though I was relatively new and I was wanting to improve and stuff. Although it was a while back though, and the community, I'm trying to steer clear from it for now, because it's just toxic and I just don't really like people who are just, competing against each other and trying to be the best of the best. People should just, make animations and memes and goofy stuff and just, in general, just have fun. So yeah. Sorry if that was a lot of questions. Nah, it's okay, it's okay. Now this question comes from Blake, and he says, do you have a plan to teach Minimator on your channel, like animation and... I think you're trying to ask me if I'll be teaching Minimator and stuff, like animation, fight tutorials, lighting, and whatever. I don't really plan to do that, honestly. I mean, it's not really on my priority list right now, because I have a lot more on my plate. I have other animations I'm working on, including my unofficial MGB series, Separated, so I don't really have any plans to make MyMayor tutorials. I have made one, which is, replacing the splash art with someone else's, or your art, basically. I'll link that in the video description if you want to go check it out yourself. It was made for pre-5, but it does work with newer builds like MyMayor 2.0.2 and the community build. But maybe in the future, I might go and do some tutorials of MyAnimator, although no promises though. This question comes from Idiot3, and he says, "Are you Jay?" Well, obviously. I mean, you could see my username, no? Who else would you be talking to? The King of England? Okay, this question comes from Ypika, and they say, "How are you, Jay?" I'm doing alright, and I hope you have a good day too as well. My day's been going decently good, and just trying to get as much progress done on my series as possible. And I hope you do the same too as well with your series, if you're working on them. How many Jacifer ancestors do you have? From Isaac Felix. I don't really have any ancestors, although apart from one channel which is called Jacifer, and his name is Jay, which is interesting. And he's not the Jacifer that you guys know. The Jacifer that you're watching, which is me, Jacifer MLG, does Minecraft animations, while Jacifer, just Jacifer, nothing else, he makes LEGO tutorials, which I think they're pretty cool. Although, I had like quite a lot of people saying, which is your channel, Jacifer? And they showed me like 2 screenshots of my channel and the other guy's channel, and I thought, wait a second, did I accidentally copy someone else's name without even knowing? Because when I created my name at the time, I didn't even know who Jacifer was at the time, which was quite strange, and a little bit embarrassing. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Okay, this question comes from the Soup Store 1092. Interesting name. How many animations or models do you have in with your character? I think you're trying to say like how many animations am I included in, or how many models do I have of my character? For me, my actual own models that I've made myself, I have around a few of them. I even got the very first one, which, I mean, I don't even want to look at because it just looks awfully cringe. I even used freaking like schematics just to make the rig until Model Bench came around and I improved a lot more on my modeling skills. And for animations, if you're talking about like fan animations in general, I'm featured in quite a lot. I have a playlist called videos that I'm featured in. This does not just include animations, but also includes a bunch of gameplays as well from friends and guests and other kinds. So yeah, if you want to go check out the playlist yourself, I'll leave a link in the video description below if you want to check it out yourself. Okay, now we got some questions from Arctic Wolf. 7 of them. That is nice. And the first question is, how's your day? My day is good, and I hope your day is doing good too. What is your favorite thing about animating in MyAnimator? Trying out new things, making renders, and trying to improve more and more with the new features of MyAnimator 2.0 and the community build too. What do you plan to do with the channel in the future? Gaming, live streams, more test animations, or whatever is on your mind? Well, for the future of the channel, when I finish my MGB series, the unofficial one which is separated, I'm going to be moving on from MyAnimator completely. Well, not like fully move on from it, I'll still make animations here and there, but they'll mostly just be memes, test animations, or some shit posts. Excuse my language over that one. Who is your childhood YouTuber? I would say PewDiePie. PewDiePie was a pretty big childhood YouTuber back then in my young days, although I was banned from watching him because of the amount of swearing that he was doing and some games that are just, mostly for adults. But I would say PewDiePie was a pretty big childhood YouTuber in my books. There's also DanceDM and Think Noodles and other YouTubers as well that were a pretty big part of my childhood. So yeah, do you like Among Us? Among Us is good. I mean, there are some goofy moments and stuff here and there, although I just don't really play it as much because not a lot of my friends have the game. No offense to them. What software do you plan to switch to in the near future for animation? Blender or Cinema 4D, etc. I'm not really too sure, really. I mean, I can't really predict the future, so we'll have to wait and see. Which Minecraft YouTuber would you love to work for if you get commissioned to do an animation for them? I would say Dan TDM. He's a pretty cool guy, and I'd really love to work with him one day. Alright, we got 3 questions from Zephyrus. Is that how you pronounce his name? What's the lore behind the creeper infection? Okay, story time it is then. I'm going to be talking a long paragraph for this. So, the lore behind the creeper infection is about the fungus called chlorogen, which is basically a fungus that grows off trees. It helps them grow faster and more healthier and protects them from infections. However, one scientist, an amateur one, decided to try and edit the DNA of the chlorogen fungus to make it edible for humans. However, he accidentally spliced DNA from another fungus that alters people's minds into the chlorogen fungus's DNA, which caused the chlorogen fungus to heavily mutate and spiral out of control. And it started to make creepers with horrifying welts and creepy mouths and all that, and it started to spread rapidly along trees mostly. And then an outbreak came along, and then Jay, being the curious cat, having an unknown explosion happening like near to his village where he lived at, decided to investigate it, only for a piece of a weird crystal from the chlorogen fungus to stab him in the chest and cause a massive spontaneous explosion of spores and infect a lot of people, turning them into creepers and some pretty nasty ones. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. The lore behind the creeper infection is still a bit of a work in progress, but hopefully I answered it the best I could. Alright, second question. Do you believe your journey through Minamere was worth spending time on? Yeah, I'd say it is. Despite its toxicity in the community, I have met some pretty good people, like Bean and many others I'll throw up on screen here. I've met some pretty good people and, well, yeah, I mean, I'd say my journey through Minamere is worth it in my books, despite the toxicity. Alright, third and final question. What is something you'd want yourself if you were able to go back in time? Well, I would tell my 16-year-old self who is about to go into animation from Animator, and I'm gonna warn him that he's gonna go through a lot of toxicity through the community. But I would tell him that his journey will be worth it, because he'll meet some good people along the way and learn a lot for the past nearly 5 years. Okay, a few more questions from Blake again. What's your favorite colors? My most favorite color is green, but I do like blue, black, grey, and other colors as well. What's your favorite animes? My favorite animes are Spirited Away, Arrietty, and Weathering Review. Those are some pretty good animes. What's your favorite games? My favorite games are Minecraft, Call of Duty, The Binding of Isaac, Dead by Daylight, and many others as well. What's your favorite animation that you've made so far? I'd say MGB2, Jason for MLG vs Capril. I say I put like a lot of heart and soul into it, and it took quite a long time to make, but it was definitely worth it. Although, I kinda went a little bit overboard on the gore side of things. And heck, even Shadow Creeper Animations, the guy who is the master of blood and gore, says that the amount of gore in this animation is wild. Pretty big surprise. Alright, these questions come from a winky face. How old are you when you started to animate in Minimator? I was around 16 to 17 years old when I started animating in Minimator. Do you like to see anime? Yeah, I'm pretty open to anime. Favorite anime? Same question as before from Blake. It's Spirited Away, Arrietty, and Weathering Review. Why your creeper form can open the mouth like a monster? What inspired you to do it like that? It's pretty complicated, but I'll explain it the best way I can. For me, when I was making the Mob Killer MGB, that was around, I think, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I'm not too sure, I'm gonna have to check again. So when Mob Killer threw his sword at the side of Jay's face, I was thinking, what if Jay ripped out the sword and added a mouth to it? So his mouth is hidden, basically, but when Mob Killer threw the sword and Jay just rips it out with brute force, a mouth would appear, and a pretty scary one in a way. And it's quite funny as well, because I was on a call one time with some people, some of my friends, and when they saw that mouth part, they were utterly stunned. It was like a massive plot twist. And some people, well, some of my friends, told me that the mouth is very similar to the character Trouble, and Trouble is this weird humanoid Enderman kinda. He has a very similar mouth to Jay, although with my twist, Mob Killer threw a sword across Jay's face, and Jay ripped out with brute force, and then, well, Jay opened his mouth and became all scary and crazy. And some people said that I took some inspiration from the Trouble character, although I didn't really, without realizing, because, yeah, I don't know what else to answer there. So yeah, that's all the questions answered. And sorry for this video getting delayed a lot, because, well, I was like really busy, so this took me a while to, well, make this video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a nice day, and hopefully I'll see you guys later when MGB4 comes out.